the soldier stepped on a landmine. Unconsciously, he just turned around. He wants to rush up and rescue, but the next second, it stops. Will be in place. He felt the touch of metal coming from the soles of his feet. Eyes widened in fear. My whole body couldn't help but tremble. He even stepped on a deadly mine. Watching the painful wailing of comrades in arms, Mike kept comforting him. Ask him to take the sedative out of his medical bag. Give yourself pain relief first, although there has been some relief, but if not bandage in a timely manner, he will also die due to excessive blood loss. To this end, Mike decided to take a gamble. This mine has been buried under my feet for over 30 years. Maybe it's already expired. But just as he was about to lift his foot, this short-lived comrade actually chose to shoot himself. Mike can only calm down as much as possible, and then study how to save oneself. First, he needs to confirm if he stepped on a mine. He slowly bent down, slowly insert a dagger into the sand. The sound of metal collision comes out, make him more certain that he stepped on a mine, but he doesn't want to sit idly by. Now we have to call headquarters for support. It's radio. But in my comrade's bag. So he took off the shoelace, connect him to the tomahawk. He successfully obtained the radio. But things are far from that simple. There's actually no battery in the radio, and the battery is in the comrade's pocket, and he couldn't even reach this distance. But fortunately, I found a solar charger in my backpack. After poor quality exposure to sunlight, the radio finally has a signal. Hurried to contact headquarters for support, but was informed by headquarters that sandstorms could occur in the desert at any time. Helicopters unable to rescue, and the nearest troops will take at least 52 hours to arrive. But the problem now is, his food and water sources are running out. Besides, under the scorching sun, he can't move yet. How could you possibly persist? But in order to survive, Mike didn't give up. He designed a timer to wait for rescue. But at this moment, the accident happened again. A sandstorm is sweeping in the distance. Soldiers half kneeling in the desert, and ahead of him is the upcoming sandstorm. But the soldiers didn't plan to escape. He covered his mouth and nose with a scarf, then stick the sniper gun to the ground. Finally, forcefully insert the knife into the sand. Maybe this way we can stabilize our figure, won't be blown away by sandstorms. The still underestimated the power of sandstorms. An even stronger gust of wind struck. The soldier almost fell. But even so, he still doesn't dare to get up and leave. Because I'm stepping on a mine under my feet. Once you loosen your feet, I'm afraid there's not even a whole body. Fortunately, the sandstorm passed quickly. His comrade's body was blown over. Got the battery from inside. But I didn't expect the radio backpack to be blown far away. It's like heaven played a joke on him. Under the scorching sun, Mike drank up the last drop of water. But there are still 42 hours left for rescue. Mike fired several shots into the sky, but there was still no response. He's completely hopeless, so he raised his pistol and prepared to end it all. And at this moment, a villager appeared in the distance. He walked towards Mike with a regular pace. Clear. He knows where there are no mines. Mike seems to have seen a savior. He saved the villagers. Help him bring the distant radio over, but the villagers completely ignored him, but took away his kettle. Before leaving, he said to Mike, "You should take a bold step forward." He plans to drink his own urine to quench his thirst. Just as I was about to drink into the water, a little girl ran over, returned the kettle to him. He's already filled with water inside. After Mike took the kettle, a sudden infusion. But when he asked the little girl again to help him bring the radio over, the little girl didn't pay attention. He just ran away. As night falls, she lit a fire to keep warm. Looking at the photo of his wife during the surgery is his only hope now. Suddenly, the roar of a pack of wolves in the dark. Looking back, a wild wolf is dragging the body of a comrade in arms. The wolf pack on the other side is also approaching him. Crisis moment. Mike fired several shots directly. The frightened wolf pack stepped on a mine in panic. The violent explosion scared away the wolf pack. I managed to endure until dawn. The next day, the villagers saw that Mike was still alive. He was very surprised. Once again, persuade Mike to bravely take a step forward. This time, the villagers helped him retrieve the radio. He's still 24 hours away from rescue time. The soldiers haven't eaten for 24 hours. The scorpion he picked up with a dagger looked at the shining poisonous needle. Because I haven't dared to eat it for a long time. Take out a water bag filled with urine, although it's difficult to swallow. But fortunately, I restrained my hunger in my stomach. At this point, his face was severely sunburned. I can always hear my comrades' voices in my ears. Even saw the dead Johnny station stand up. The hallucinations are getting worse and worse. Seeing a picture of his wife being bullied at work, he can only keep waving his fists. At night, here comes a bigger challenge. The wolf pack launched an attack on him, and in his eyes, these wolves have all turned into thugs who just insulted their wives. The next day, surrounded by the bodies of wild wolves, only 7 hours left until rescue time. The dawn of victory is right in front of us. In a daze, Mike is experiencing hallucinations again. The deceased comrade reached out and pointed at Mike in the distance. Looking back, the rescue vehicle has finally arrived. Rescue vehicles have also arrived. Place. The rescue team has arrived at a nearby location. But it cannot stay for a long time, so Mike must set off the signal flare. Ask them to confirm the location as soon as possible. Mike looked down. A huge challenge has arrived. The signal flare is only 1 step away from him, but he just couldn't get it. Watching the rescue truck in front of him getting further and further away, he decided to gamble on this one, after repeated hesitation. Finally, he took the most difficult step in his life, but I never expected that. Because there was no explosion, he collapsed to the ground. Incredibly, looking at the place where I've been trapped for a few days, he used trembling hands, digging up sand bit by bit. What surprised him even more was that what I stepped on was just an iron can. All ignited signal flares. Red smoke slowly rises in the desert. The rescue team also wears explosion-proof clothing to be quiet. The movie ends, treading on thunder on the sole of the foot. The vivid interpretation of how many people nowadays have pressed the pause button for their poor life. Just lie flat and give up, hold back. Undoubtedly, it has laid a temporary mine for one's own life. We need to take that step bravely, because what often changes our lives, perhaps that's the small step